Hi there, it's Sam from PootlesPapercraft. Thank you very much for joining me today, and thank you for joining me on Way Back Wednesday. Every Wednesday, and I've been doing it since the beginning of January, I'm going back to an old project of mine and recreating it in modern papers and what have you. And I was looking through my own Pinterest boards actually, because I do get inspiration from myself. And I came across this project which I had made. Let me just put it on autofocus. Should have done that before I started filming. This is one that I made in June 2013, so pushing up 3 years ago now, and it was for a friend of mine called Debbie who made handmade soaps, and she wanted a box for a specific size of her soaps. Now she doesn't make soaps anymore, she does have a beautiful boutique shop though, but I loved this box, and it's what I call my 3-2-1 box, because the box measures 3 inches that way, 2 inches that way, 1 inch that way, which is 7.5, 5 and 2.5 centimetres. Doesn't quite sound as good in metric, but yes, it was a soap box. And if you can see, please focus, there we go. Those of you who will remember, we had a beautiful paper pack called Polka Dot Parade, which was spots on one side and then it was circles on the other side, but there were only 6 colours, and I think all of us were a little bit gutted when it retired. But then our beautiful background stacks came out, which have got polka dots one side, writing on the other, and then the other half of the paper has got stripes and flowers. So I made some little boxes for my boys, and because these colours, I mean, Polka Dot Parade only available in 6 colours, these you can get all 50 of our colours. I'm a happy girl, which means that my Jack, who likes green, can have a green box. Luke, who likes yellow and orange, he can have that box. Jacob, who is a big fan of red, can have red. And Oliver, who loves any colour, any shade of blue, can have blue. So I have made my boxes, and I'm going to recreate it for you today. It's super simple. You can get 2 from a sheet of cardstock, and this is my piece of cardstock that I have cut down. So the piece of cardstock that you need is 9 by 4 inches. Let me just call up my measurements because I'm going to work off these. 9 by 4 inches, which is 22.5 by 10 centimetres. So you cut off the bottom bit to get your 9 inches, 22.5 centimetres, and then you cut down. So just check I've got the right one. This one is slightly wider because I've got metric paper. Okay, so 4 by 9 inches, 22.5 by 10 centimetres. Let's grab my scoring tool. On the long side, we're going to score it at, when I find my stylus, on the long side at 1, 4, 5 and 8 inches, which in metric is 2.5, 10, 12.5 and 20 centimetres. Turn it round and score it on the short side at 1 inch and 3 inches, which is, I've lost it, it's 2.5 and 7.5 centimetres. I'm working off my measurements on here, or you're possibly not seeing them, and obviously in those days I did centimetres completely separate from the metric, so yeah, I've just had to scroll up and down. Okay, I'll just close my screen. I'm going to have to turn that back on again in a second to get the DSP measurements for you, but it's a simple box. And interestingly, I had a conversation with a lovely lady called Julie, who came to visit me the other week, and we were talking about the styles of boxes, and she said, you know, she didn't want to be copying people's boxes, and I said, well, the reality is that there really are only half a dozen styles of box. It's just you make them look very different when you're working with the measurements of it. And so last week's Way Back Wednesday was a box that closes up like this, but it was landscape. This is the same style of box, but it's portrait. Okay, so holding your piece of cardstock like this, where you've got 2 horizontal lines and you've got 4 vertical lines, we're going to cut up the vertical ones and cut into your little squares as well. And just keep going all the way around. So I had this conversation with Julie, who is hopefully joining my team, and we were talking about that, and you know, she said that she wanted to practice, and I said the biggest thing about crafting is that you're enjoying it, and I thoroughly enjoy what I do. Hopefully you all know that. And for me, being a demonstrator gives me the opportunity to work with beautiful, incredible paper craft products at a discount, which obviously I you know, that is what I get as a demonstrator, but also it's the most remarkable opportunity that you have, because it opens wonderful doors. you get to purchase at a future discount. So we have a remarkable kit offer at the moment. It's £99, you get £160 worth of product. I can't remember exactly what it is in euros. I'll have to ask my European team because I've had a whole lot of them join me recently. But it's more than just getting £61 worth of free products. It's everything that comes after it. And we had a long chat about it, and it was really good. And it was nice to talk one-to-one with somebody about the opportunity, you know, actually literally face to face rather than just over the phone. So it was a good conversation. I enjoyed it. Okay. Anyway, my DSP that's going on the top. So this is Melon Mambo because I'm making one for me. So I wanted a pink one. I've got one piece here that measures 2 3/4 of an inch by 1 3/4. That's going to be the one that sits on the top. I've got 2 pieces here that measure 1 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch, and they're going to go on the 2 ends. And then these 2 measure 1 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch, and they're going to go on the sides. And in metric, I will tell you, but you don't need to write it down, 7 by 4.5, 2 by 4.5, 2 by 7 centimetres. Okay, we're going to get the DSP on first. It's much, much easier to put it on before your box is closed. So, let me grab my snail. I have my snail out actually. There we go. So put snail on all of these and then put it over. So yeah, I'll stick it all on and determine which is going to be your top and which is going to be your bottom, because we're not going to put paper on the bottom. You could if you wanted to, but whichever one you put on first, that becomes the top, and then you're going to put your pieces of DSP on the rectangles that are around it. So anyway, yeah, coming back, yeah, I love being a demonstrator. I love that I get to talk to all of you in a virtual capacity, but I also get the chance to talk to you when when we speak on the phone, or when you send me a Facebook message or an email, and I love that. And I did work in offices way back when. I haven't worked in an office or for anybody other than myself the last 18 years, but I have worked in offices in the past, and this is such a different working lifestyle and a different opportunity, I think, and it fits very much around my family life with me and 4 boys who I have 4 sons at 3 different schools, put it that way. It gets complicated, and yeah, and it fits me and it fits my lifestyle. So right, let's glue this. So this panel that you haven't put anything onto, that is the base. So we're going to put these, I've glued up all these 6 tabs. 4 of them are going to go to this part. So we'll start at the bottom. So put those 2 in. Okay, so that's half of the bottom done. These ones need to go in there as well. So that is the bottom of the box. Done. Okay. So that's the bottom, that's the top. I want to put a little handy helper in. Let me show you. So that little bit there, so that you're not going to stick your nails up under it and buckle it. And I'm just eyeballing. So I'm going roughly halfway between, and I'm only going maybe 1/3 of the circle, so it's not a half circle. It's just a little bit. And then I can close, whoops, I can drop it, but I can close it up as well. And that is the lid of my box. So it's going to go over. Now I'm going to flip it over, and you can see it gapes slightly here. That is very normal with this style of box. But that's also why we then use ribbon, which I've put back on my shelf, to close it. And it's, ribbon's pretty. So this is the stitch satin ribbon in the matching Melon Mambo. So I'm going to tie a knot on this one, because although this is a girly pink one for me, I did decide to put knots on them for the boys, so I'm just going to keep the theme going across. There we go, just a little knot there. The cat's under my desk snoring. At least she's not jumping in videos, but she is snoring. So yeah, there's the boys' ones with knots, and I've done different ribbon on all of them. So I've got satin ribbon, I've got seam binding ribbon, I've got cotton ribbon there, and then some more stitched satin ribbon like this one. But I just want to stamp now and put my initial on. So I've got one of my favourite sets, Epic Alphabet. I don't use it very much, but it's the one that I grab for when I am doing initials and monograms and things like that. Losing my voice. Excuse me. So I do love it. I like that it's actually all lowercase as well. That appeals to me, and it appeals to me when I'm doing things for the children. So yeah, that's very much up my street. And I like the fact that I can fit them all in the same size circle. So Melon Mambo ink. And then I need, and I've put my punches away, I tidied up. I was meant to film this yesterday, didn't get an opportunity to, and I tidied everything away. Okay, 1 3/8 of an inch circle punch for this one. Fit it into the centre, and then I've got one. This is one of the leftover bits. This is the leftover bottom part of the box. So I've got the 1 1/2 inch circle to nest around, and then my heart from the Itty Bitty Accents punch pack. One of those, and still plenty of cardstock left over. So let's lift all of these up. So I'm going to directly snail the monogram to the pink outer, and then I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on this one. Position that up slightly. I'm going to put it off at a jaunty angle. And I've got my little heart. And with the hearts, if you cut a dimensional in half or grab a little bit of the edge bit, and I'm going to grab my paper piercer, I'm kind of sort of jamming it in the foam so I can pick it up and show you. This, when you put it down over your heart, but with the point pointing down, it will fit absolutely perfectly. And then I can just pop it on there. And then these are ready for me to fill with treats. For my little boys and for me. Treats for me. My desk drawer is full of treats for me. And the boys know it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to speak to you very soon. Bye.